You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
And welcome to this episode of Board Game Snobs podcast. With me today, I'm Gaby.
This is Mike.
Mike, back from a long hiatus on the podcast.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Where have you been?
Still here, just not on the podcast.
Why not?
Well, I don't know, man. Time, work, life, schedules.
Life and wife. Speaking of wife,
There you go.
the wife of Mike with us today, Crystal, say hello.
Hello.
He's very trepidatious about being on the podcast.
Very.
Trepidatious. I looked at it was the word of the day on my phone today. It's the only
Oh,
reason I
nice.
used it just now. I don't know what it means. I think it has something to do with what I just said.
Dread.
Trepidatious. Dread?
Dread.
Dread might work. So we're recording with Mike today. We played, so I come on over to Mike and Crystal's on Sundays when we can, since Jerry's nonstop busy with killing old people. When he's busy doing that, I come over to Mike and Crystal's on Sundays. And we usually play a game or two, usually just one here lately.
We're old.
Yeah, back in the day, we used to get a game on Mike. We used to get a game or two in. But here lately, we just get like one game, and that's plenty. That's good.
That's because Gaby has to help Jerry hide the bodies.
That's true. Just like, there's a game. Bloody Inn. Bloody Inn's a good game where you hide the bodies. We played Cryo. We've discussed Cryo on our podcast. Mike and Crystal, how do you feel about the game Cryo? Mike, you first.
Me first. I love it. I love how it builds up. Like the engine building at first, there's many different options that you can go at the very beginning, depending on how you're wanting to play the game. But it all comes to, a really nice finale of those last two, I'm going to say rounds, but it's not really rounds, but those last two go arounds because everybody's fighting for position in the tunnels, caverns. And it makes for a really competitive end to the game. And you can really kind of tell based on how a person started, and what they have in the ships and whatnot, how the game's going to flow at the very end. Those last two rounds are critical.
I agree. It's a game. It's one of those games like many others where you feel like you do nothing the first several rounds except gather a few resources.
You're just working. You're just placing and gathering and building.
And then the last couple of rounds, bam, everybody's shipping off their pods.
And it's a fight because there's only so many caverns that you can go to. So everybody's trying to fight for their
domination.
The domination of that cavern. There's a first and second place, of course, and really it's random because there's different cards that you can throw out in those caverns that equal different victory points. But man, the few ones that come out that are 4 or 5 victory points apiece, it becomes pretty ruthless.
And in this game, what you can do is whenever you recall, you take an incident token. And when the last incident token is out, if it gets taken, that just ends the game, period.
Done.
Well, Crystal was doing quite well, as she usually does in these games. Her and Michael run neck and neck trying to catch up to me most games. And what happened? What's so funny?
Catch up to you. You're so far behind you can't even see us.
Hey, look, I just enjoy playing. It's the journey it's all about the journey for me.
It still amazes me how someone can lose and still enjoy it, but
I enjoy playing the game.
That's good. Rough. That's good.
So, Crystal, she ended this game. She lost by a mere 2 points, but what you did was very strategic. And in this game, you can recall early. You can place all your drones out there and then recall, or you could recall early. which threw Mike for a loop when I recalled early because he thought I would then get to put all my drones out there. But it's just it's a turn, a recall. Just like in Manhattan Project, there's several games where you spend a turn just recalling all of your meeples or workers or whatever it is. In this case, it's your drones. So I recalled early on one occasion, threw Mike for a loop, but then he realized, oh no, now, and then I was like, it got back around to me, and I was like, no, I only still place out one drone, and then it's your turn again. But we've discussed this game on this podcast. Me and Jerry like it a whole lot, but I wanted to get the perspective of Mike and Crystal. Crystal, as a relatively new gamer, one might say.
Yep.
You're still quite skilled. What's amazing about Crystal, I will say, is most people, when they come into board gaming, they start off with like really light games. But Crystal just dove headfirst into the deep end. What was the first game you played?
I do believe it was Viticulture.
Viticulture, it is on the lighter spectrum, but it is not the lightest of games. There's a lot going on in Viticulture.
Yes.
And you do quite well at that. I would say one of the first 3 games you played was frickin' Dinosaur Island, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Dinosaur Island's a lot. But Crystal grasped these games. So, Crystal, as the viewpoint of, it's not that you're new, but that's what I'm saying. That's why there's a whole discussion about gateway games. What is a gateway game? For Crystal, a gateway game was frickin' Dinosaur Island.
Mm-hmm.
Viticulture, so it's for every person, it's different. What is it? Well, first of all, did you enjoy Cryo?
Very much.
Why?
Because you have to do everything. All the actions that they lay out for you on the board, you have to take them all. Whereas some games you can bypass doing certain actions altogether. This one, you have to take all the actions.
They're all interlocked very well.
Yes.
Interconnected. This is a straight up worker placement. Once you put a drone somewhere, nobody else can go there. Everybody's trying to do like these other worker placement genres of work. Coal Baron's an example of like, okay, you went here, but now I can go there as well, but I had to put twice as many people.
Right.
One of the Shem Phillips Garfield games does that. West Kingdom games where like I go there, but now you had to put twice as many people there or something. That's fine. I prefer this style of worker placement where it's like you're blocked. You can't go there.
Yeah. Now, do you prefer that, Gaby?
I do.
You got kind of...
I got blocked out, but that's why...
By Crystal twice in this one.
Yes, and it's irritating, but that's what I like because there are cards you can play. Crystal had a card. There's abilities that you can add on to your ship, and it allows her... or whoever plays it, but in this case, Crystal had it, where you could go to a spot that is damaged that no one else can go to normally. But this ability enables you to go there when nobody else can. I didn't have that card, so I was blocked out of all these spaces. And that's why I like worker placement of this genre, because it is, and I've said this before, I like being frustrated. As frustrated as I get, I like it when I need to go there. I can't. Now I can't. So now I'm frustrated. Why do I enjoy that? I don't know.
Well, why do you enjoy losing? It's all a mystery.
I don't enjoy losing. I don't enjoy losing. I enjoy playing games.
Well, it's a challenge because when you go at it and you know exactly what your next move is and that is blocked, then you have to reevaluate everything that you thought you were about to do on your very next turn. And it's difficult. And this game is the perfect example of that because in many instances, you were blocked. I was blocked. The game ended. I had many capsules ready to be delivered and just was going to absolutely destroy all. But the game ended and I was stuck with them. I couldn't deliver them. So
Crystal strategically recalled early.
Yes.
And then took that last token that just ends the game.
Oh, yes. Yes. But that's the game though, is being able to not really think on the fly, but have a plan, but then be ready to throw that plan away and readjust the plan.
So where would you rank this game, Crystal, in all the games that you've played?
All about the ranks.
How do you rank? Do you rank like 1 through 10 or what? How are we ranking here?
Let's not compare it to everything else you played because you probably don't necessarily have it on top. Let's say, on a scale of 0 to 10, where would you rank this game? Just a good old-fashioned ranking.
I'm going to go with 9.5. It's high up there. I really like it.
Mike?
Way up there. I would say a solid 8, 8.5.
Yeah, we gave it very similar scores. Crystal, you have played 109 games that I have logged. I have played 109 games with you.
I thought you were going to say that you have lost.
No. I'm surely to have won at least one of those. But you have 50, that's 109 plays out of 57 games. So basically, every game we played at least twice together.
Mm-hmm.
You have won, let's see, I don't know if this, your win percentage, 100% in Royals. The 2 times we've played, you've won both games.
I can't get her in
I
Royals.
like that game.
Red Cathedral, 100% win percentage. We played Wingspan Ragusa. I forgot about that game, but that was a pretty good game.
Yes,
I think Jerry has sold it, though. It's one of those games that's like, it's really enjoyable, but it's like, we never really get back to it, though. There's some games like we enjoy. Like just the other day, we played Twilight Inscription. Just the other day. I don't know what's going to come out in the span of this podcast, but we played Twilight. It's a roll and write. Have y'all played any roll and rights? I don't think you have. Like, Welcome to.
Welcome to. We've played Welcome to.
Has she?
No.
And by
You'd
she,
like Welcome
I mean
to.
Crystal, who I'm looking at here to my right.
You'd like Welcome
Mike to my left.
Welcome to is very.
I need to bring
enjoy
Welcome to. That
Yeah.
way we can get Crystal. What do they call that?
Rolling rights.
Yeah, I know, but
Acclimated.
Used to, and involved in the roll and write genre to get your opinion of them.
See,
I don't care for them because it's not that I don't care for them. They're fine. I enjoy them while I'm playing, but they all feel the same ultimately.
but Crystal's taste in games is a lot like her taste in music. The genres span. For her
Over
music,
everything.
it doesn't matter. It could be country, rock, heavy metal. It doesn't matter. R&B. It spans the spectrum. With her, games are the same thing. We can go from Cryo to what's the funfair unfair to
That's one of
viticultures.
That's a game that you purchased when you were in the throes of learning about board games and all that they can offer.
I stand behind that game.
I like it. It's fun.
It's a good game. It's not one I would prefer, but it's a set collection. You're trying to get all this stuff. Yeah.
It's a set collection, but
It's very take that.
Yeah, it is.
It's the more
backstabbing, and our
unfair you
boys
pay,
love it.
you
Yeah.
play, the better it is.
So, Crystal's got a Pan Am. She won the one game of Pan Am we played.
We only played one game of Pan Am.
We've only played one game.
We need to circle back.
As far as I think we've played London a buttload of times together.
Yes.
In a quest to beat me, I'm undefeated.
You're quite good at that game. It's irritating.
Very.
Viticulture and Colbert, and I would say, and Raiders. I would say those are the 3 that we played the most together.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable, all of them.
So so for me, where would you rank those? Like, you got Raiders, you got Viticulture, you got Dinosaur Island. Just any of these, is there one that is there a game that you have in your mind that you would like to play this game? Basically, it would be your number 1 game. What is Crystal's number 1 style game?
Oh, I have no idea.
If I said, okay, I'm coming over on Sunday, Crystal, it's up to you. We're going to play something we've already played. What do you want to play?
But it changes so much. It would depend on the day.
You really like that
Underwater Cities.
Yeah,
I really like that.
Cities. Yeah, I forgot about
what's the one where you're battling out with the colonial soldiers?
Oh, yeah.
West-
Empire's Age of Discovery.
Yes,
Oh,
I
man.
really like that one.
Very good at that one.
So you're pro-colonialism. I get it. Okay. But yeah, but
She's very strategic
Do you
with
have
those.
one on your mind? Like, do you have a game, or just say in your top 3? Like, here's a game out of all the games that you have played, Crystal, which is 100, and games you've played 57 games. So is there one that just bubbles to the top of your mind as a person that has played 57 games? You're kind of fresh into it, but yet you're not. But you're quite skilled when you do play. Much better than me. But who isn't?
Everyone.
I've accepted the fact I suck at board games. I just thoroughly enjoy the process.
He's passionate about it, and that's okay.
Every now and then, there's a game that clicks with me, like Concordia.
Yeah.
I love Concordia. Every game that me and Jerry played together, I've won. There's something about that game that clicks with me.
You do really well in the where you're the hotels.
Oh,
Grand
yeah.
Austria?
Grand Austria,
I'm pretty sure.
I think Crystal wins all those two.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But it's closer.
No, that's a game I really like.
Grand
that
Austria
game.
is very
yes.
good. Yeah.
Crystal does like Grand Austria. I kind of forgot about that. Let's see. I have all them listed. Grand Austria Hotel with Mike and Crystal. Mike has won.
Yes.
I came in last on that one, the most recent one we played. Let's see. Here's another one. Crystal won.
You came in
second.
last.
I came
Oh,
in second on that one.
So
wow.
that means I came in last.
But then here's another one.
Or third place.
This one involved your son, Little Mike, who also played. He lost tragically by quite a bit.
He did not understand
But
that one.
it was 178, Crystal 164, me 157. So I came in last on that one again. We've played we've played 3 games of Grand Austria Hotel. I've won none of them. Mike has won 2. Crystal's won 1. I come in dead last. Why do I like game? I don't know. So
Why do I remember you
interesting.
doing better at that?
I don't know. I don't know. You were incorrect just then.
My bad.
So for me, so that's my thing. So it's like when it comes to gaming, I'm not good at them. Why do I like them? First of all, you have the social aspect. I enjoy coming over. You have many alcoholic drinks. That always helps. And
Maybe that's why you don't win.
I enjoy the association.
We should do an experiment.
Seems to be a correlation there. But I just enjoy, I don't know. It is. It's cliche and it's dumb sounding, but I do just enjoy the process.
I do too. It's fun.
Picking something, seeing how that works. Every now and then I can see, if I do this, then it's like you love linking those chains together. And sometimes you can pull off combos and it just like, it trips that dopamine in your brain.
That's the reason why I enjoy, like when we go to BGG, when we get a chance to, I like a constant. It's over and over and over again because we try so many new games. And in my mind, the process of trying to figure out how do I get from point A to point B, point A being starting the game, point B to winning the game. It's amazing. Every single time, the process of figuring out the victory path is, I love it.
And that's irritating about Mike.
So irritating.
Because you're like Jerry in the fact that you can play a game
For 2 seconds.
Yeah, you can play it a round or 2, and then it's like, bam, it clicks in your brain. You're like, okay, and you need to do this, to do this, to do this, to do this, to do this.
To win.
And I don't recognize that until usually the game is over. And it's too
What
late.
happened?
Oh, no, I should have done that.
And I'm like, so that's how the game works. But I don't know. It's just some people, it clicks with some people faster, and some types of games click faster. But
And some people just withhold crucial in-game scoring
look, sometimes
rules that let them win occasionally.
Sometimes you just forget. And as a rules
Wink,
reader,
wink.
Wink, wink.
That's why you should always watch Rodney when you have the chance instead of listening to me.
Thank you, Rodney. Yep.
And Chris was just shaking her head like, yes, preach. Yeah. Well, Rodney's very thorough. Sometimes
Yes, he
I
is.
leave out critical pieces of how to win games. Not for my own advantage. I just leave it out, period, and forget.
On purpose.
We're pressuring him to tell us everything so that we can get started. But I would like to point out that she never gave us a top 3.
That's true.
And we
I
circle
know.
around.
I'm just looking for a game. What game would you want to
Right
play?
now,
If
it
I
would
said-
be Cryo. Because I have not been disappointed at all in any aspect of that game yet.
Okay, but that could be considered recency bias. It's the most recent game you played, so it's on your brain. We've also played Marco Polo, which you liked a lot, but I don't like the fact that the one I play, we play the OG, that the traveling doesn't do anything unless you use the asymmetrical powers of the people, which we have not used amongst us.
Oh, okay. So that,
Okay.
yeah, that might change things, but the traveling in that game is.
So say what you said
Yes.
about that versus this.
So in Marco Polo, you can devote a lot of time and a lot of energy into trying to gain victory points via traveling in that game. but it's like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Whereas in Cryo, as you're moving along, it comes to a point where the traveling, you have to travel. It's going to happen, but the traveling actually means something at the end of the game. And if I remember correctly, the last 2 times we played Marco Polo, I didn't travel
at all.
At all.
Not like even one space.
It was a whole section of that game that
didn't even have to do.
Yeah.
And we still won. And you still came in third.
It was very frustrating because I tried to break the game. But again, we didn't play with the asymmetrical powers, which I don't
like asymmetrical powers.
And we don't either. We, as the board game snobs whole, none of us like that because how can it be fair? And that's the thing with Marco Polo. It's like, okay, so for instance, in Marco Polo, one of the powers is whenever you set your die on somebody else's die, generally, not the generally in Dukes of Hazzard, that's been canceled, but generally, you would have to pay a coin for whatever amount of pips is showing.
Right.
One of the powers is you don't have to do that. So you can, it's
just
no coin.
Go anywhere.
Right. Another one of the powers is you can adjust the die to be whatever you want them to be.
Then what's the point of the die?
So then if you need them to all be 6s, you can make them all be 6s. But if you have to stack, well, then you got to pay the pip price. But there are powers that enable you to travel. I don't know them. I know there's one where you have like 2 travelers out there. So that would be very nice.
Yeah.
And traveling, and if you did that, and that's the thing, and that's what ever since I've heard about Marco Polo, they're like, every one of these powers seems overpowered or broken. So it's like, oh, it sucks that I have to pay and you don't have to pay because money's very important, especially when it comes to traveling. But if you have this dude, all you got to do that's already way far out there, and well, then you can do your travel cards and get a bunch of points. So it's like yours seems very powerful, and yours seems very powerful, and it always seems like, well, the one I have sucks. That's the way it always feels in asymmetrical games.
But in Marco Polo, like the traveling is so expensive; it takes so much to travel that it's just never worth it.
And with that, when you're dealing with asymmetrical powers, depending on what you get dealt, you don't have any options. Whatever power you get dealt, that's how you're playing the game.
Right.
You get stuck to if you get dealt the one that travels, you're traveling. If you get dealt the one that builds.
Well, here's what people say about that. And you would think this is why I would like it. When I approach a game, like I said, Mike and Jerry, and I think Crystal does too, whether she give like you see you're like the Legend of Bagger Vance. You see the path in your brain of where this needs to go. I'm like, oh crap. I'm just gonna start doing stuff. Whereas Mike like sees his path of, oh yeah, I need to go here to go to here, and this will win me the game. But in games like Marco Polo, where you are assigned an asymmetrical power, that's what they say. One advantage is, okay, I can now lean into this.
It gives you the path.
I know what I'm good at, so this is what I need to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's what I'm saying is it pigeonholes you into
one thing.
You're doing that one thing,
mm-hmm.
and you're just like a monkey with a drum. You're just beating the drum. That's all you're going to do the rest of the game. You don't have any option. Or to me, it takes kind of the strategy out of it because
you're dealt your strategy.
You're dealt your strategy. That's how you're playing the game.
Touché. Well said, sir. Crystal agrees.
Yeah.
Barely.
Crystal, how do you feel about podcasting with that microphone in front of your face? You were very trepidatious of this, Sam.
Yes, I was, and I have no desire to ever hear my voice. But
it's not hard, is it? You've been doing quite well.
Wouldn't say hard necessarily.
I mean, if me and Jerry can do it, and Mike over here to my left.
Hey, watch it.
Now we got a mic defender.
Hey,
shouldn't have brought his wife on.
There you go.
Where's that whiskey at?
Well, hey, she's the buyer of the fine whiskeys.
I know. That's why I come over here.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with my association with good friends.
That's why we only give you the cheap whiskey.
Yeah. So the whole time I've been over here this evening, Evan Williams, the black label, not even the bottled and bonded. Y'all gotta go bottled and bonded. That's
not to mix with.
The bottled and bonded is just slightly more expensive, slightly. And it is a vastly superior whiskey.
I get that, but I'm not buying good whiskey to mix.
It's cheap.
It doesn't matter.
But that's true.
Whenever you're mixing it you just need a whiskey flavor. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I'm just glad you haven't gone down to the Ezra Brooks level.
No, I've never even heard of that. So no,
it's quite terrible. Okay, so every now and then we have stayed at a hotel. What's that hotel that has like the free happy
Embassy.
hour? Embassy Suites.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then my wife have stayed at the Embassy Suites and they have this, free happy hour. That's cool. All right. They give you the cheapest, most rot gut whiskey,
bottom of the barrel,
vodka, whatever you can imagine. Oh, well, come to our free happy hour. Sure, if you want a massive migraine in the morning.
You want to be sick tomorrow, don't you?
And they have, and they'll have beer too, and that's really the best way to go. Because, I can't even remember the last beer I had there, but it was quite disgusting. But they had a whiskey. It was below the Ezra Brooks level. It was like just absolute rot gut bottom shelf. It was bad. It was very, very bad. And I'm not a snob.
No, you're
when
not.
It comes to bourbons.
You'll drink it all.
I will drink. Straight. I'll drink it straight. I'll put a little ice or something on it. But I can handle some Evan Williams bottled and bonded. 100 proof. You can get a handle of that, like a 1.75 liter for $25 at Total Wine & More. It's still. I think it's the top tier of the bottom tier. But you go below that.
Top of the bottom.
It's the best of the worst. You go below that. No, it was disgusting to even put in my mouth. It's like alcohol.
What was
rubbing
that,
alcohol?
What was that one that you larceny?
Yeah,
larceny was pretty good though.
Yeah, that's
for a budget whiskey.
The last time I tried it, I didn't care for it too much.
Really?
What's your favorite bourbon?
My current
current favorite.
We've been skewing pretty heavily towards
scotches.
Towards scotches. Heavy into scotches, but I would say a current favorite bourbon probably lean towards either Four Roses Single Barrel, which is
that's good.
And again, that's a relatively budget, but also I really like Garrison Brothers.
Yes.
Garrison Brothers is nice, but that one's a little more pricey.
Yes, it is.
Now, if you're talking scotches, which is where
your president.
It's what has my heart.
Yeah, it's the Offerman edition.
What has your
Lagavulin.
Lagavulin. The Lagavulin Offerman's edition is the cream of the crop. You can, in my opinion, you can spend $200, $300, $400, $500 on a bottle.
We have.
We've got a bottle in there right now of Highland Park.
Yeah.
It's aged 21 years. It is amazing. It is right about $300. But you can't
put
beat
a price on a 15-year anniversary present.
Yeah. You can't beat that Lagavulin. Offerman's edition. It's aged in Guinness. Swanson. It's aged in Guinness barrels. It is so good. Wow. So good.
And so after we tried it, we went and bought Guinness because we're like,
you started carving.
Obviously, we'll like it.
I'm going to start carving.
Yeah, we didn't care for just the Guinness beers much.
I don't think we drank it right because apparently you're supposed to drink it warm. Did you know that?
No, okay, here's the thing. Guinness is like this world-renowned beer. Everybody's like, oh, it's a meal. It tastes like a super light stout to me.
Yes.
Like, it's not that big a deal.
No,
everybody calm down with the Guinness.
Give me a Yingling or a Ziegenbock.
Okay, no, I don't like Yingling. I don't like Ziegenbock. But I will take many other stouts or porters or whatever class Guinness is in. That
he said he didn't like Yinglings.
I don't care for Yingling. I'll drink it again. Does it have alcohol in it?
You'll drink.
I will drink it. But it's not my favorite by far.
Really?
So what's your favorite?
My favorite what?
Beer.
Stout.
Beer?
Beer. Just
My favorite beer is called Yellow Rose. And it's, I believe it's brewed here somewhere in Texas.
Oh, yeah, it's Yellow Rose.
Yeah, it's called Yellow Rose. So.
Now, what about whiskey? Bourbon. We'll start with bourbon.
Okay, now, see, here's the thing. I'm not a man of means. So it's like, well, Evan Williams, Ezra Brooks, or Jim B. What are we talking here?
Elijah Craig, single barrel.
My favorite thus far, I like Knob Creek.
Knob Creek's good.
Oh, yeah.
Proof. It's solid.
I like Knob
I like
Creek.
the Knob Creek 100 proof.
Yes.
But see, then you would probably really like Garrison Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason
it's got that bite.
The reason I like Knob Creek 100 proof is it does have somewhat of a sentimental value to me. When me and my wife went on an anniversary trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma, because that's where the fans people go. Tulsa, Oklahoma. We went into hey, calm down now. We went into a Chili's.
Hey.
We decided to drink some alcohol.
Got some wings.
Us and Michael Scott from The Office.
The real question is, though, did you feel God in that Chili's that night?
Every time I go to Chili's. Every time. So, was it anyway, it was one of those type of restaurants.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. TGIF, Chili's, Applebee's is absolute garbage. Don't talk to me about Applebee's. Anyway, so we went in there and I was like, give me a... But I was already at the point of where I just like straight bourbon, straight whiskey. Mm-hmm. And they don't really, that's not on the menu. Mm-hmm. They offer like Manhattan or what's the other one with, it's like bitters?
Sour.
Or is it old fashioned?
Old fashioned. Old fashioned. They had, I said, what alcohol is in the old fashioned? She said, well, we use Knob Creek 100. I said, just give me that
That'd
straight.
Be sour.
No, I said, give me the old fashioned, but just give me the whiskey. So she dropped me the whiskey. It was Knob Creek 100. And I was like, ooh, this is good. And that was the anniversary trip, me and my wife. And I was like, oh, that's a good tasting whiskey. So therefore, I like that. I tend to go to low end of the spectrum. So I like a lot of like the Scotch. Like I learned that red and yellow labeled one that's in all the old 80s movies. It's a Scotch. Oh, is
it the Johnny Walker? No.
It's not Johnny
red
Walker.
And yellow.
Red and
It's
yellow.
in The Thing. It's in like Scarface. Like they all drink this. It's a medium level Scotch, but it's good. Like I bought it as like $30-something for the fifth, and I guess that's pretty good. But I haven't had that many high. I come over to your home to drink, any quality Scotch that or Irvig or whatever you have. It's the something Vig ends in a Vig. Harvig. It's a Scotch. I'll have to show it to you later, but anyway.
Is it in there currently?
I don't know. I haven't seen your pantry here lately. You've been giving me the cheap stuff, like I said.
My bad.
In all fairness, we've been drinking the cheap stuff too.
But it's like, if I had my preference over Scotch, bourbon, whiskey, I like Irish whiskey.
Oh, we like Irish whiskey.
I prefer Irish whiskey above them all because to me, it's just so much more smoother on the palate.
So
see, I like the smoke of the Scotch.
I do like some of the smoke, but I like the smoothness
the
of the Irish.
The green spot and the red breast.
Yes.
Those are my two favorite Irishes. Yes. Oh, Teeling.
I was going to say Teeling.
I can't leave Teeling out. I'm sorry. Or Talisker.
Yes.
Talisker's a Scotch.
And there's some Japanese whiskeys in there that I like a lot too.
We have not went that direction yet.
We've tried a few.
It's good.
But, yeah.
All right. Well, now you've made me thirsty, so we need to take a break, in which we will not come back from because that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Feel free to leave us 5 stars on Apple, Spotify. Please rate and review us. Please tell a friend. That's the main way that we can get new listeners. When we need new listeners, always we need them clicks. One of these days I want to go pro. Just with this podcast so I can quit my job truck driving. I'd like to quit truck driving someday. The hours are horrendous.
He is good at it, though.
He would also like to get off that corner.
I can back up trailers better than anyone.
I'm the best backwards driver.
Okay, whatever. You can claim that. It's not true.
He would like to get off that street corner, backing that thing up as well.
I do too, as Juvenile once said.
Hey.
That's going to do it for this episode. Crystal, thank you for joining me, despite your tremulous trepidations over there. Word of the day has really been paying off.
Thank you for having me.
All right. This is Mike.
This is Mike. Appreciate you guys.
Crystal.
And
this is Gaby. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.